BIC Cristal for her ball pen. Someone has answered my gentle prayers and finally designed a pen that I can use all month long. I use it when I'm swimming, riding a horse, walking on the beach and doing yoga. It's comfortable, leak-proof, non-slip, and it makes me feel so feminine and pretty. Since I've begun using these pens, men have found me more attractive and approachable. It has given me soft skin and manageable hair, and it has really given me the self-esteem I needed to start a book club and flirt with the bag boy at my local market. My drawings of kittens and ponies have improved, and now that I'm writing my last name hyphenated with Robert Pattinson's last name, I really believe he may someday marry me. I'm positively giddy. Those smart men in marketing have come up with a pen that my lady parts can really identify with. Where has this pen been all my life? I'd really like to buy a pack of these pens, but I probably need my father's or husband's permission first. Like I do with all my financial decisions. These pens fit perfect in my hands, but hubby feels they are unnecessary since he writes all the checks. I'd explain more, but I have to go make him a sandwich. Well, at last, pens for us ladies to use. Now all we need is for her paper and I can finally learn to write. My wife has struggled with man pens all her life. Try as she might, they always wrestle her down and she has to surrender using them, unless writing on a notepad for her macho employer. We have been hoping she could take over keeping the checkbook, please. No laughter. She is very capable of writing what I tell her in the ledger. With BIC for her, she now has the confidence, and proper fit, in her ball pen to write and do the things a woman should. Just yesterday, with her bridge club meeting, all the girls could keep score since she loaned them each one of the pens. The women all told her they felt so empowered, that they would serve dinner 5 minutes late. My wife's best friend, Betty Sue, even insists her husband will have to tuck his own napkin in tonight. I was a bit unnerved at first when my wife announced she wanted to drive to the grocery store on her own. I had to gently remind her that operating an automobile is much more complicated than writing, especially with new BIC for her pens. She realized the wisdom I offered was correct, especially since she has never had a driver's license, and only recently was allowed to ride in the front seat. I patted her cute bottom, and told her how cute she is. She giggled, and waltzed into the kitchen to prepare my man meal, following a new recipe she wrote with her ready BIC for her pens. I can't find a switch to turn it on, and it didn't come with batteries. This is not the for her product I was expecting. At all. I was disappointed to find that only 1/5 of the pens I received were pink. Or, maybe more, I can't do maths. If you are going to make a pen for her, please refrain from calling it a ball pen. We're confused enough. We are frantically waiting for the plus or minus sign to appear, but nothing. My wife peed on all 16 of them and none seemed to work. Worst pregnancy tests ever. I live with my parents, and when my dad found me using these pens he threw all of my things in the trash, and now he's taking me on a hunting trip? I sent this to my fiancé, who shortly thereafter came out as trans and began her transition. Thanks for helping that along, BIC. And while this falls in line with the joke reviews, I am entirely serious. Bought this for several ladies at the office to show my appreciation for their feminine qualities. Their note-taking and dictation skills immediately improved thanks to these specially designed pens that fit perfectly in their tiny little hands. Thanks, BIC, for thinking of the everyday woman. My wife and I have been married for 10 years, and I admit, I had no idea how to mark this milestone. What can you get your soulmate that shows her how much you love her and how much better your life is because she is in it? These pens. I used to watch the consternation that would consume my wife as she'd try to write invitations to her sex in the city marathons, or as she'd struggle to sign the bar bill. My liberated little lady likes to go Dutch, on her $9 Cosmos. I could almost hear her thoughts. Should I dot my I's with a smiley face? Or a heart? And I'd think, if only there were a pen made for the complex, dainty, modern woman in my life to help her through these difficult times, and now there is. With these pens women can finally attain the equal status they've been so long denied in our society, not in salary or mutual on-the-job respect, but now when they go to file a complaint with HR they can do it in comfort and in style. After all these years the answer to the glass ceiling is finally resolved. Squeal with glee, what was holding women back was not having this delicate pastel pen that was designed for her. Who knew? The genius boys over at BIC did, of course. Why, I'm so giddy with excitement my husband may even get lucky tonight. Winky face, can these pens be bought individually? I only intend to write things until I find a man and get married, so it's a waste of my hard-earned secretary's salary to buy the whole pack. What can I say that hasn't already been written? These will be a gift for one of my slender-fingered friends. I'm sure they'll enable her to write the great American novel. The best thing about this pen? It looks so stylish tucked behind my ear while I'm perched on the corner of my boss' desk flirting with him. Woman hands need a lot of help with everything, so I was positively elated when these arrived via magic. Now, the doodles at my tea time luncheons are filled with so many more swirls than I ever thought possible. First, feminine doodles. Next, who knows? I might even gain the responsibility to sign a check. With 3 gals in my house you can imagine how many of these I go through. But now imagine my surprise when I saw that they were $10. I purchased these last year for just over 7 figures. Get the gals hooked on their fancy products and Big Daddy has to dig deeper into the wallet. All of the ladies in my office are so thankful that BIC came out with pens for her. Before, we were hardly able to get any work done, because those bulky, dark, and dreary pens were depressing us. You know how women get. The melancholy and mood swings have dramatically decreased and we are finally able to take notes for the men who run this place. Thank you BIC. While I hate to admit ladies, let's be honest here, size matters. The length was workable but unfortunately much like my last boyfriend 1 millimeter of girth just isn't enough. I must admit that when I pulled these out of the package, I tested them out by writing a shopping list for a bake sale that I was working on. That's irrelevant though, as I would have done that anyway, BIC Cristal for her or no BIC Cristal for her, since that is something I do. The idea of pens made specifically for women is not necessarily a foreign idea to me, but many pens that are made specifically for women seem to be sold as alternatives, not as a replacement if you see what I mean. The way these are sold makes me feel that I must, for now on, only purchase pens made for women as I am not good enough to use regular pens. The other pens that I have, that were marketed to women, made me feel that I was born with the privilege of owning these special pens while also knowing that I could use any other pen I wished. It was an empowering feeling of knowing that I had additional choices. That aside, as a product, I really like these pens. They are slimmer than the regular BIC Cristal and come in prettier colors. There are faceted indentations on the end of these pens that catch the light, and the printing on the body of these pens is in silver foil. As someone with smaller hands, I find these more comfortable for me to use than the regular BIC Cristal. That said, my one gripe is that these pens only come with black or blue ink. I don't usually use regular black and blue ink, I often use pink, purple, turquoise, and green for my general writing. Personally, I think it would be a good idea to offer these in more colors in addition to the regular black and blue. As far as writing goes, these write the same way as any other BIC ballpoint I have written with. I think they are a bit smoother to write with than the BIC ballpoints of my childhood, don't blob as much, and don't require as much pressure. The ink still has the characteristic smell that I remember from BIC ballpoints from my childhood. That said, I think I'm sticking with my fountain pens, many of which are far girlier than these pens and can write with any color I so choose, like pink, purple, turquoise, sea foam green, spring green, mulberry and other fanciful colors that I currently enjoy. If I were more of a ballpoint user, I would probably buy these pens over the regular BIC Cristal. They write the same way, but look prettier. I will, in the meantime, save these pens for doodling. If you are looking for a ballpoint pen, I think this one is worth looking at. It writes decently and is a nicer pen than the regular BIC Cristal. While you are at it, send a message to BIC to tell them what you think about the way it's marketed. I just did. I was drawn in by the light crystal pastel colors, they're almost mesmerizing online but even more so in person. What I appreciate most is the ultra-lightweight feel of this pen in my hand, especially during that time of the month when you almost can't be bothered to get out of bed in the morning. You know what I'm talking about, those days where you look and feel as though you've given up on life, sweatpants, chocolate, ibuprofen, and a sloppy ponytail. Who wants to be burdened with carrying around a bulky, high-quality pen made by a widely recognized and admired, and reputable company? It's not like you're trying to impress anyone at this point. Why not free up some space in your purse since you'll be carrying around unmentionables to deal with private lady business? If someone tried to steal my purse, I'd lose it completely. They'd get a dose of pepper spray like they've never tasted before. If they got away with just the pen and some tampons, it would be okay since these pens come in a pack of like a gazillion anyway. Then, when their eyes cleared up from the massively painful burning and stinging, they'd realize that pen, although it is a shining crystal beacon of hope and light, really is weighted down with their own bad karma, and that's on them. Don't blame the pen. Husband loves them. His hands are stiff and the pens are thin and easy for him to write with versus the larger pens. I can only in good conscience give this product 2 stars until they offer an option for heavy flow days. I mean, these are great for the last 2 to 3 days of writing, when the flow is pretty light. But for the first couple of days, when the words are just gushing out of me, these pens are just not enough. I purchased this product for my wife and she actually used this product to sign the divorce papers. A breakthrough in Freudian analysis. Now girls no longer need suffer from pens envy as they've been given nice pens of their own. Wonderful for writing in your journal about your feelings. I haven't bought these. I don't understand why the ink is black. I only write in pink. I'm a girl, for God's sake. BIC, please think before marketing a product for women. So careless. I bought these pens for my wife based on the glowing reviews, but now she doesn't need me anymore. These pens have fulfilled her every need. Yes, that one too. Men, don't buy these pens if you want to keep your woman. Eureka! What a pen! Just what the doctor ordered. It's strong enough for a man but made for a woman. I do appreciate the sleek design, however, being that most of my time is spent barefoot and in the kitchen, this product does not apply to my needs. Listen up, gal pals, if you're anything like me, and I bet you are because we are all identical. Winky face, you hate the confusion and fear of trying to write with smelly, empowered man pens. How do I hold it? You wonder. What do I write on? What is math? I hear you, girlfriend. Let's face it, using your husband's pen feels like wearing trousers when not on a bicycle or horseback. It's just wrong. For so long women everywhere have wondered, will there ever be a writing utensil for me? Well, ladies, start your pen gins, because finally there's a reason for girls to be literate. That's right, BIC has come out with BIC Cristal pens for her, the pen that's sensitive to my needs, and listens to all my stories about my coworker Becky, bitch. When I tell my friends, they're skeptical, but the Cristal pen has completely changed my life. For the past 40 years, the weight and heft of a regular pen has kept me from voting. But now that women everywhere have a pen meant for their delicate lady hands, the United States can rest assured that we'll always have super hunky presidents. And don't worry, it's not just for dreary activities like voting. BIC Cristal can write recipes, baby names, and thank you notes to your gynecologist, and even more recipes. I'm so busy writing, I don't even have time to think about how empty my uterus is. Thanks, BIC. Also, unlike regular cheapo black BIC pens which cost $2.49, my BIC Cristal for her pens cost $4.99, because I'm worth it. Besides, it's not like it's my paycheck that's taking the hit, winky face. Thanks, hubby. Buy BIC Cristal, and make your calligraphy as crystal clear as the glass ceiling. Don't believe me? Just ask Amelia Earhart. She was writing coordinates with a regular pen and we all saw how that turned out. I'm a red-blooded heterosexual male and I'd never really thought about using women's pens before. But these make me feel pretty.